Hello everyone, I'm Forrest McFreelava, and this is Speedplay France in Stellaris number 6. We left off declaring war upon our nearest neighbor, one who, quite frankly, is just more easily conquered than other planets are colonized. Hence we are at war, hence we are chasing their fleet, hence we are trying to chase after them, however we missed them. So they have a fleet of 1.4k strength, which is significantly underpowered compared to our own. We do go ahead and attack their wormhole station, hopefully limiting the ability they have to strike against us. However, they are launching a raid against one of our worlds, so we have to rush back to it. Hopefully we can get there in time, and they're warping out again. Alright, so with that inconvenience, we're going to have to go pretty much anywhere else and hopefully chase them down, except wait, it looks as though they stopped running, so we go after them again, but now they're running again, over and over. Maybe they're going to run, maybe not. They're trying to. Will we intercept them? We've intercepted them. Alright, so that was weird. However, hopefully not too terrible. We're also going to try to bring in some science ships, perhaps in order to study the debris from this battlefield. It's actually incredibly fortuitous for us that the battle is taking place in one of the systems that we control, and evidently is not safe, but, you know, we control it, so that's positive. They also don't even appear to be emergency warping, and there we go, we've destroyed them. Maybe one or two ships escaped, I'm not entirely certain. At any rate, though, we did very considerable damage to their forces. We're also still constructing additional destroyers with really all of the material we have, combining our fleets, and charging over to one of their main worlds. We're also sending all of our ships that we're building over to the fleet to just kind of build up again. There's an enemy ship in Hellam, however, I believe it's probably just a science ship or something like that. And now we're going to just attack their station, hopefully bombard their world. More science is happening in the distance, however, it's taking a bit of a backseat to current events. And there we go, we've destroyed their station pretty easily. And now it's just going to be a matter of bombarding this world, invading this world, and moving forward. We also have new droids, which is a fancy upgraded version of our existing robots. We destroyed one of their science ships, so take that. We can build robotic armies, and we're going to be building quite a few robotic armies. No longer will French men and probably women, I'm not sure how equal our society is, although we do have female leaders, so probably women as well. No longer will French men and women have to die on the fields of foreign worlds as we bring the enlightened French rule to them. Now robotic slave armies can do that, and that's just as good. Maybe even better. It's definitely more humane, in the sense that humans don't have to die. At any rate, though, we do go ahead and begin the invasion. We're full bombarding them. Our armies are also, hopefully at least considerably advanced. All of our various benefits, and we've collected another species and gained quite a bit of society research, manages to be enough. I don't believe we lost any of our military forces, so that is just spectacular. They'll also get back to full strength as they occupy that foreign world. We do also gather up our robot soldiers, and hopefully we'll be able to use them in a pretty decent way to just go ahead and continue the various invasions, and hopefully just dominate and destroy really just all of the remaining worlds that we need to. We do have to enslave a whole bunch of people since they're getting rather upset. Apparently one of our various alien, I guess, subject groups isn't too fond of us being in wars, which pretty much means that they're going to have to stay in near permanent enslavement, since we are probably going to be fighting a few more wars, especially now as our fleet is of considerable strength. We also are hopefully going to be able to make peace fairly soon, although it remains to be seen entirely how soon or how late that's going to be. We may have to launch another robotic invasion, or 2 or 3, or who knows how many. We are only at 60% war score right now. We did, however, just destroy quite a bit of enemy infrastructure, and hopefully, as apparently they have 2 worlds right over here, which is rather intense. We're also really getting into the process of collecting specimens, getting a lot of our society research up, and going ahead and putting a guy in charge of our army of now robot soldiers, which is launching probably a horrifying doom campaign across this world, and doing a very decent job at it. You'll notice the robots are hardly taking any casualties, which is pretty spectacular for our robotic armies. We also will possibly even border all of these other states as soon as we tear through this other state that we're invading right now. And yeah, once that's complete, it looks as though we already managed to capture that one world. We're attacking the next. Once again, considerable robot forces just pounding into the planet. We're at 96% war score. We can probably force peace pretty soon. There we go, 100%. We go ahead and demand everything, leaving them a shattered, split apart remnant of the state that they once were. We do go ahead and enslave everybody involved and go ahead and set up a new glorious republic for all of those peoples, as they are now part of our empire and just a sister republic to us. So that's pretty great. We have to wait a while before we declare war again and finish them off. However, we have partially integrated them into our confederation, or whatever it is that we're calling this. Empire seems to be the key word and is almost certainly the most aptly descriptive. Unfortunately, some of our former AI trade partners are no longer friendly with us, and thus we are unable to trade with them, which is a bit of a problem since intergalactic trade, or intragalactic trade, was a pretty major part of how we were able to build this fleet up as quickly as we were. We could go ahead and declare another war, just charging on into these guys. However, at this point, their fleet is roughly considerable to ours in strength. We also found some primitives who we can go ahead and just uplift easily by sending over our army. I'm not sure if we sent over our ground troops of French people or ground troops of robots. However, it really doesn't make any difference on the ground. At any rate, though, we are just going to continue building up our fleet until we have it considerably powerful enough that we can realistically take on one of the two states around us, and it looks as though it'll be Terminus Invictus, which we go ahead and invade. So it'll be interesting to see how well or how poorly we do against them, since we don't have the type of overwhelming superiority we usually hope for one of these campaigns. And we do go ahead and create a new republic for this new group, as we did just go ahead and incorporate them. So that's very nice. We also do have the range now, since we did recently upgrade our wormhole range, that we can get to Terminus Invictus, which was one of the main reasons we hadn't fought them, is that we couldn't even reach them. So that should have been managed to... what am I saying? Hopefully we took care of that and resolved the issue that stopped us from advancing. We are also now at a point where we have more neighbors than we have the ready military means to civilize, we could say. Really, any euphemism of your choice. We're kind of just using them loosely. At any rate, though, our navy is more powerful than it has ever been. Our science and various other incomes are more powerful and higher than they've ever been. We do have a considerable amount of influence, so hopefully when we do manage to get to a more peaceful setting and a peaceful disposition, we will have the influence to start colonizing worlds considerably. At any rate, we're probably not going to be colonizing worlds in the near future, since colony ships are expensive, and most of our resources are probably going to be used to do a split combination of, one, we really need to increase our power income, so we're probably going to be focusing on that. Two, we need to build up our fleets so that, one, we're not attacked by all of these now very hostile groups around us, and just deal with all of the budding internal issues, since a very large portion of our worlds, or in our empire, are at this point not entirely friendly with us. We are colonizing partially, although honestly that was probably a rather poor move. Colony ships do, however, have a decent amount of upkeep, and that's not exactly an ideal thing. We could also potentially go ahead and change our government again. We do go ahead and switch a lot of our sector focuses towards energy income, since we are really very close, more likely than not, to having another incredibly serious deficit of energy that puts our economy more or less into a stalemate and just kind of collapse. Our large navy is definitely sucking up resources, although we do have them in orbit, which should cheapen it up a little bit. No one in the universe seems at all willing to trade with us for energy, which is just grotesque and awful and makes the situation only the worse. Only the worse for us. So all of that is fairly awful. We also are getting a lot of slaves to just escape from us, which is, once again, not ideal. We are building power plants to the quickest of our ability, upgrading everywhere that we can while we still have the energy to do so. However, at this point we have 1 month left of power, and it seems as though our state is getting into a very, very negative place. Hopefully with the finishing of these colonial efforts, we'll get back into a spot where we have a more or less decent economy and decent roll forward and budget. At this point, though, we're basically trapped where we are. What we can do is hopefully change our government. We could become a mega corporation, which honestly is probably the best move for us. However, I don't feel as though it's fully in keeping. We do go ahead and switch to a military empire, which should lower the cost of our navy, and that does actually push us into the black, which is great, or I guess into the white, since it's white on this. However, we're just not in a deficit anymore for our power. It was a very close run thing, and we did actually run out for a little bit. The main important thing is that going forward, we really, really keep going on our whole energy deficits. Make sure that we have as much energy, resources, and income as possible. We did just get 500 for completing the intergalactic zoo, or intragalactic zoo, I keep messing that up. So, crisis averted. We went ahead and took over at least half of one of our neighboring states, kind of getting us more involved in the just galactic neighborhood around us. And hopefully when we come back, we'll be able to keep attacking our neighbors, hopefully really secure our position in the galaxy, and maybe be able to look peacefully into the future from there. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.